Hello and welcome to History of Dragon Ball. Today we are recapping and reviewing the Dragon Ball Super Manga Chapter 73. Dragon Ball Super Chapter 73, Goku vs Granolah is out now. So here is our video to recap the events of what happens and a quick reaction to what unfolds. And before we get into that though, let's have a quick reminder of what happened last month in Chapter 72, Saiyans and Cerealian, as I didn't manage to get a recap out for that one. Goku and Vegeta had arrived on planet Cereal ready to fight this evil villain that they had been warned about. However, Vegeta is instantly suspicious that things are not quite lining up as they've been told, but they still go searching for this warrior anyway. Granolah then fires ki blasts at the two of them from an unknown location, but the two do manage to dodge them. It even gets to the point that Granolah appears to even be able to move faster than instant transmission, which, moving faster than instant seems a bit strange. But anyway, Granolah even uses a technique that also appears awfully close to the Hakai technique. Along with this, we also get to see Goku using Super Saiyan God with Ultra Instinct as a way to try and keep up with Granolah. Granolah knows that Goku has been holding back though and demands his full strength, declaring that he does not care if he kills Goku before learning of Frieza's location because Vegeta is still there to get it from anyway. Goku, realizing Granolah's desire to take revenge on Frieza, also becomes confused about the Cerealian's supposed villainy at this point. However, he becomes distracted as Granolah raises his ki even further, whilst at the same time expressing his confidence in the results of his training. As Goku finally takes on his Super Saiyan Blue form and continues the battle, Vegeta is off elsewhere, confirming his suspicions as he finds a large great ape footprint in the ruins. He realizes it was his people that destroyed the city, not this supposed new villain. And so that's where that chapter ends. So now we move on to the latest release. Here we will go through what happens next, so of course there are going to be spoilers. So if you don't want to hear them, click off this video now. Although, realistically, I don't know why you would be on this video if you didn't want any kind of spoilers. But also, just to give you a moment, if you do want to click off, I'm just going to ask as a massive favour this time, can we hit 100 likes on one of these videos? It would be a great milestone to hit, and I know you can all help me do it. But okay, now onto the chapter. So the battle continues with renewed intensity as Goku, now in his Super Saiyan Blue form, closes the distance on Granolah, evading a frenzy of blasts and flying straight at him. However, Granolah evades and flies into a forested area, which is also the section that we had leaked earlier this month. Granolah dodges all the attacks before swinging around a tree by his scarf to deliver a kick to Goku. Goku shakes it off and lands in his superhero pose though. He manages to stand his ground against heavy blows before finally sending Granolah flying back. Granolah then counters though, but Goku lets out a mighty roar and his aura rages, which wipes out the surrounding trees. Upon recovering from the shockwave, Granolah sees that Goku's stance has changed and notes with his evolved right eye that you must have activated that evasion technique. Your blood flow and the movements of your cells have changed. Goku has combined Ultra Instinct with the perfected Blue Super Saiyan form. But Granolah does not care though, claiming to have learned the movement patterns and openings of the state when Goku used it with his Super Saiyan God form earlier. Goku begins to move around Granolah at incredible speed, evading blasts and throwing him off balance before rushing in to fire a powerful Kamehameha at point blank range, which I think is a great moment in this chapter. Granolah, however, is still able to fire his own point blank shot at a pressure point in Goku's neck as he is hit by the wave. The shockwave from their clash even sends oil flying in the distance. As the dust clears, Granolah is mildly damaged and winded, but Goku has come off worse than him. The pressure point attack has once again dropped him down to his base form as he coughs up blood. Granolah confidently claims that even the faster movements and stronger attacks of Ultra Instinct will fail. After all, his right eye can lock on to pressure points without fail. Even with Super Saiyan transformations sharpening his reflexes yet further, no fighter has truly zero openings. Goku remains unshaken in his faith though that a true practitioner of Ultra Instinct should have no weak points at all, and that simply it is just down to his lacking of training. Granolah says that he will never have time to complete his training though, as the Saiyan line will end here by his hand, before causing the ground beneath Goku's feet to swell and explode upwards with a fearsome energy blast, which results in a huge mushroom cloud. Goku desperately escapes with instant transmission and lands by Vegeta, noting that Granola's technique was very similar to that of Moro's magical ability that had been used in the previous arc. Goku is also confused as to just where Vegeta is, as he had moved further away from the battle, and Vegeta uses this lull in the battle to inform Goku about his discoveries in the ruins of the city. The Cerealians were a race of people that used their evolved right eyes for long-range attacks, but they had been wiped out by the Saiyans under Frieza's command a long time ago. The Saiyan pair finally realize that Granolah is the last surviving of this race, and so out of revenge wants to kill the Saiyans, and so therefore the Heaters obviously lied to them about his villainy. Oil overhears this conversation by the use of a nearby drone, realizing that they have been hacked, but also stating that there is no turning back from their plan now. Reasoning that nothing less than beating him will allow them to convince Granolah that the Saiyans are no longer his enemies, Goku claims to still have hope of victory, as he has saved his most powerful iteration of Ultra Instinct for last. Granolah now turns to face the Saiyan once more as he approaches for battle, now with silver hair instead. He introduces the form as Perfected Ultra Instinct, as Granolah reels with shock. He cannot detect any pressure points in Goku's ascended state now. The battle continues once again as Goku attacks once more, only this time Granolah is unable to perceive his movements as the Saiyan launches a lightning fast assault that results in the tearing off of his sniping goggles and knocks him around the forest. Goku pauses briefly to try and reason with Granolah, but he is unmoved and attacks Goku again. Granolah is unable to penetrate the Saiyan's autonomous defense in this perfected Ultra Instinct form, which ends up with him being lifted into the air and punched by a ki blast to the stomach. Goku follows up with a series of blows that create air pressure shockwaves that strike Granolah repeatedly. Vegeta believes the battle is won, but notices that Granolah's energy has not dropped as much as it should have. He then detects Granolah's power is actually coming from somewhere else. Granolah expresses his surprise that the Saiyan's strength has reached such a level, and he finally admits that he may have actually underestimated Goku, but he has not lost yet. He explains to a confused Goku that the Granolah that he is fighting is not his true self. He split his body and power apart at the start of the battle, taking on basically what he calls a clone of himself. At this point, Vegeta finds the true Granolah sitting in his spaceship and alerts Goku as the clone vanishes into thin air. But as Vegeta turns back to the ship, the true Granolah teleports to Goku's location and strikes a pressure point directly over his heart that briefly stops it beating, causing him to once again drop back to his base form. A final devastating blow sends Goku crashing through miles of forest, leaving him on the brink of death. Granolah says that he wanted to save his true strength for Frieza, but having Goku fight a clone first worked to his advantage as the accuracy of his perfected Ultra Instinct continues to drop over time. He then mocks Goku for falling for his trick and prepares to kill him, only to be saved by Vegeta, who is impressed by Granolah's abilities. Vegeta has no interest in trying to reason with Granolah like Goku did, proclaiming that Granolah will soon be joining the rest of his people in hell. And that is where the chapter ends. I did a bit more of an in-depth recap this time, so please let me know, do you prefer it this way or a more general overlook like before? Let me know in the comments below. But now that we have finished, let's give some brief thoughts of what has actually come to pass in this chapter. So to start off with, let's cover the action, as after all, it was great just to get a lot more action after more and more build up in the previous chapters. And to be honest, here the art was just incredible. Sometimes it's just so nice to sit back and just take in the pure quality of the artist's work. Everything that we got to see, from the flying through the trees to the ki blasts, to that one moment of Goku doing a Kamehameha right up close to it, it was just amazing. It's something that we don't always get to appreciate when it's more static, generic backstory moments, but these are the points when the artists really get to shine. But something else we have to talk about is the power creep that keeps happening in Dragon Ball Super. It's something that people started to feel was slightly happening in Dragon Ball Z, but since Dragon Ball Super has come, it has become worse and worse for it. The power creep. The amount that Goku and Vegeta improve over time is just ridiculous. They have become so much more powerful than they had in the past. And it just means that every new villain just has to be that much more powerful. So somehow we've got a universe of all these more and more ridiculous beings who have just been hiding somewhere and just been unaware to everyone up until the point that they arrive. Now yes, this time it was down to a wish from Granolah, which almost makes me feel like even the writers feel that it's just getting too ridiculous having these extremely powerful beings. They've had to bring in some way poor writing way of just using a wish to get that power. But also talking about that wish, something that I have found quite interesting that a lot of people did not really suspect is when Granolah made that wish to become the most powerful warrior in the universe. This wasn't just by pure power and strength, but also in techniques. Since that wish, Granolah has seemed to just automatically learn all these new techniques, like that of the very similar to her Kai blast. It is something that people didn't necessarily expect, and it does make it a little more interesting than just making him stupidly powerful. It's also made him smarter, and that is one thing I do actually like about this wish from Granolah. It's not as simple as he's just more powerful and stronger than the Saiyan, is that he has all these different techniques of, for example, using the clone in this one. It's just a good way of introducing different ways to attack our heroes. But along with that, this also leads me on to my next point of Ultra Instinct and how Granolah does manage to defeat it so easily. With Ultra Instinct, this was introduced obviously against Jiren, and at that point it seemed almost unbeatable. And that's kind of what it is supposed to be. The body moves on its own, it cannot get hit. This is Goku's trump card. This is his backed into a corner, he will win if he can transform into it. But we've had an issue, is that Goku has gone off and mastered this technique rather quickly. Now I know that they've put in the lines about that he hasn't truly mastered it yet, even though he is calling it the perfected Ultra Instinct. It kind of just doesn't make sense, like how many times can he master a technique before he has truly mastered it? It again, and I hate to say it, it just feels a bit like some lazy writing. It's made this almighty technique that's supposed to be so good that the angels use it, almost a bit redundant, and it just doesn't feel like that much more of an improvement over something like Super Saiyan Blue, which realistically it should. Like I said, this is the technique of the angels that even the likes of the gods of destruction struggle to learn, but yet Granolah can simply make a wish and defeat it. In a way, and I've seen this term used elsewhere, they've nerfed Ultra Instinct so much so fast. It's just all happened too quickly. There hasn't been a journey for the point in Goku's training. It's just happened, and I feel that is a weak point with it. But now there's just one other thing, and that is with the end of the chapter, Vegeta now steps up. And we know we have these moments repeatedly. Vegeta steps up, he is really confident that he's going to defeat this new villain, and then he gets butt kicked and Goku comes back in to save the day. Now will this happen again? We don't really know. Despite Vegeta seeing just how much damage Granolah did and how strong he is, he still seems pretty confident, so he might have a trick or two up his sleeve. Maybe he thinks his Hakai technique can just erase him. We don't really know yet, and it will be really interesting to see what happens next. I do get the feeling that what's probably going to happen is some sort of fusion between Goku and Vegeta again, whether that's in the form of Gogeta or Vegeto, and that's going to be what can finally defeat Granolah, basically saying that as individuals they are not the strongest in the universe, but together they can then increase their power so much that they do become more powerful, or at least match up to Granolah, to the point that maybe then that they can switch his sides, make him into one of the good guys, as again that's something that they do like to do but haven't done in a few arcs. We don't really know, and it'll be interesting to see where this goes next. But that kind of sums up my initial thoughts on this chapter. If more comes out in the future, I will release more videos on anything that has been released, but these were, like I said, just initial reactions after reading the chapter. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and please let me know all of your thoughts and opinions on chapter 73 in the comments below. I would like to know, are you excited for chapter 74? How do you think Vegeta will fare in his fight against Granolah? Or do you think he's just going to get absolutely wiped out because Granolah is just too ridiculous at this point? Like I said, let me know in the comment section below. And also, by the way, just remember, the next chapter will be out on July 20th. So expect another video from me when that comes out. And now that we are at the end of the video, I would like just to ask you, please subscribe to the channel and drop a like on this video. It would massively help me out with the continued growth of the History of Dragon Ball channel. And so, once again, please try and get this video to hit 100 likes. It would be a great little milestone for me on these manga reviews, and to let me know that you want me to keep doing them. And so, thank you once again if you have managed to reach the end of this video with me, and I will see you next time on History of Dragon Ball.